Today I'm going to show you how to make backpacking sloppy joes. I'm a big eater. I like to eat a lot, big portions out on the meal, so out on the trail rather. So I'm trying to fill my small pot, which I still failed to measure. I think it's three cups. Not 100% sure. I need to measure that. I have a 3-pack or 3 set of nesting pots. Here's my large pot that I usually eat out of, and I have a frying pan. And you see I got a flipper here. I got a flipper here as well. So this meal is brand new. I've never tried it before, but I decided I would record my folly and share it with everybody. We'll see how it works out. So how I come up with a lot of things is we have meals at home that my wife prepares, and I think, how can I make that out on the trail? How can I have that back in the woods? And there's a great sense of satisfaction of having a great meal out in the woods, and I love to do that. I love to eat, and you know, I've got to maintain my figure here. So anyway, so I'm going to try sloppy joes this year. So the sloppy joe is going to be a sloppy joe sauce. I'm going to serve it and eat it on bannock, which I'm going to prepare. I plan to cut it in half with my jackknife out on the trail and put the sloppy joe mix in between and kind of eat it like that. And I'm going to have a side dish of peas with it. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to try. Maybe a little ambitious, but we'll see. So I'm going to start off with a sandwich Ziploc bag. So I try as much as possible to get my whole meal to fit in one of these, a Ziploc bag. So we'll start off with the bannock. So I've already prepared the bannock. I used Matty the Goose's recipe. So Matty the Goose is another YouTube channel. That's the bannock right there. I'm going to use a full batch of bannock for this. It's hard to cook as a full batch, I find, in my frying pan, but I'm going to give it a shot. I've done it before. I'm going to try the full bannock. So that will puff right up, and it's going to be hard to get it to cook right. They'll puff right up and fill most of that frying pan. That's how thick it should be if I make it right. So the Matty the Goose, check out his YouTube channel. It's fantastic. Recipe is a cup of flour, 4 tablespoons of powdered milk, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. So I just take a salt shaker and put a pinch of salt in it. Because I'm going to mix the bannock in here, I'm going to double bag this. Plus I don't want any holes in it. I've had that before where the Ziploc bag gets a hole in it. I didn't do that the way I want to, so I'll do it a second time. And of course, it's very difficult to get the air out of the bannock bag. So I usually take bannock in what I call half batches. So Matty's recipe in half, and that's a good little snack or compliment or whatever. Tastes good, heavy. I like that. And as I've mentioned on numerous occasions, ad nauseum probably, I like to eat. So I'll take 2 butter pats as well to go with the bannock. That's to help frying it up. And I'll put them all in sandwich Ziploc bag. Okay, so that's that. So I'll start with another bag. So for the sloppy joe, I made a sloppy joe mix here. So it's basically some, you can see my sloppy writing on the bag. So basically it's some ketchup and mustard and brown sugar, all kind of put together, mixed into a sauce. I spread it on my liquid dehydrator tray, and I dehydrate it. It turns into like a leather, and then I chop it up with the food processor. I got ground beef here. I wouldn't eat it, it's crunchy. I chop it up with our Ninja food processor and make some sort of powder out of it. So that's what I got. I'll try to post the actual quantities that I use in the video that I'm going to put up. So that's going to be the sauce. So then I'm going to need some ground beef. So this is dehydrated ground beef. So always use lean or extra lean ground beef, because fat does not dehydrate. It will go rancid. It will spoil it. It'll taste terrible. It might make you sick. So we'll go with that. So inside the sloppy joe mix, so when I'm going to rehydrate that sauce, I'm going to rehydrate my meat as well. I'm going to mix the two together into a sauce on the trail. At least this is my plan. You can remember, I've never made this before, so I'm showing you my own folly here. So I'm going to add green peppers to it because I like vegetables in my sauce. And I like green peppers in sloppy joe. My wife makes it that way a lot of times, and I love it. The kids don't like it so much, so we have it both ways. So here's some dehydrated green peppers I'm going to add in. Now, this is a lot more green pepper than it looks like. It just looks like a few little pieces, but it's actually way more than that. You just pounded the pot in my hand. I got some dehydrated onion here as well. From another time that I was doing some dehydrating, I'm going to put that in, so I'll add a little bit of onion to it. And I'll take the air out of that. And bammo, in the bag she goes. Seal these up again so I don't fire them across the table and they go all over the floor. That's always fun, picking up little puffy dehydrated pieces. Throw them over there. So, and I decided kind of at the last minute that I'm going to do a side dish as well. So I'm going to have a side dish of peas. This is the first time I've dehydrated peas, so I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully they're edible. If not, I guess the fire will enjoy them. And they'll go in the bag. So, the bannock will fit in there. No, I still got a lot of air in that bannock. Another problem with flour type stuff is that when you compress it in your pack, you got too much air in the bag, and you put weight on the pack, like tighten up your straps or whatever, the bag could burst. Now I've got a zipper that doesn't blow on a lock. All my gains of getting the air out, I lost it all trying to get that zipper. I don't know if that fit it there or not. Not quite going to do it. So, basically I have two smaller bags for this meal. So that's backpacking Sloppy Joe's right there. I'm going to eat it on bannock with a side order of peas. There's a full bannock there, Matty the goose. We'll see you on the trail. Alright, we're going to make Sloppy Joe's here on the trail, and that's my first attempt at doing this. It's been a layover day, it's beautiful and sunny, and everything has been wet. So we're kind of drying out and just taking it easy today, so I'm going to start by rehydrating my stuff. So I got peas I'm going to have with it, I've got my ground beef, all the stuff I've packed at home. There's my Sloppy Joe sauce, and here's my vegetables for it. So I have a little bit of leftover water from breakfast, which I'm going to use in my pot. So I'm going to put the ground beef and the vegetables together in the pot. So usually I put kind of a generous amount of water when I'm rehydrating just to cover the vegetables up. I get a bug inside my glasses, making it very helpful. So you can see there's just lots of water there to soak up. I'm good and early tonight, so the longer you rehydrate the stuff, the better it will turn out. Usually as far as rehydrating. And I'll put my peas in there. Now, it's the first time I've done peas as well, so... Oh, I lost one. Get that one. Come back. I get a little bit of filtered water. I always use filtered water for rehydrating, or boiled water, but usually filtered, but I had some left over. So again, just enough water for them to kind of soak. And the longer those can soak within reason, the better they'll come back. So we'll see when it's time to cook. Okay, here we are, ready to make supper. Had a big long lazy nap this afternoon as this was rehydrating. That's what lazy people do. There's our rehydrated meat and vegetables for our Sloppy Joe mix. Here's, oh man, those look awesome. Look those there.
Nice.
Rehydrated peas look like they come right out of the garden. I doubt they taste quite that good, but they'll be fine. I also got my bannock here and my sauce, which I'm going to make. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these to a boil to make them hot. That's what I usually start with, and I've got to switch back and forth multiple pots. I've been thinking a little bit about how I'm going to do this, so that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to grab some water as that comes to a boil, and we'll start making our joes. Everything that I'm using here is filtered water because I don't want to get sick. So you can use unfiltered water if you want to and get sick, but I'm not going to do that. So as things are heating up, I'm going to mix up my bannock. So I've got a full, that's going to be my base for my Sloppy Joe. I decided I'm going to make two bannock patties, so they're kind of like two heavy pancakes, and I'll put the Sloppy Joe mix in between. So there's my bannock. As things are coming to a boil, I'm going to mix this and knead it because it takes quite a bit of coercion to get the flour all mixed up good. You see how nice, lovely brown lake water? It still tastes like lake water even if the bad stuff is out.
Sometimes Aaron and I sing while we make supper, but not tonight, I guess. Not for the camera. So as I'm mixing up the bannock, put in a generous amount of water. You can make this stuff a lot of different ways. You can make it runny and wet. It'll still turn out. The key is cooking it when you're cooking it. I forgot my flipper in the tent, so I'll have to go get that as well. Be careful that your bag is sealed when you're kneading it. One of the reasons I do the double bag, because sometimes there'll be a hole come in the bag of bannock. So you kind of knead it in and get your dough. And down at the bottom here, there's going to be little pockets of flour and stuff that don't get mixed up. So the better you knead it, the more time you work it, the better things will turn out. There we go. We got boiling meat and vegetables. How's it smell, Aaron? It's going right your way. It smells like food. So this is a first attempt, remember. First attempt at peas and sloppy joe. So after I rehydrate stuff, I make them hot. So I boil it, I leave the cover on the pots, and to seal in the heat. Ooh, I blew a seal. You can see my seal popped there, and I made a mess. So I tend not to be real fussy when I'm mixing the bannock. The better you mix it, the better it will turn out. Now the bannock is going to be kind of thick, floury. Kind of see there. I still got lots of water in there to mix around. It can be challenging mixing a full batch in the bag. Man, I'm doing a great job making a mess, aren't I? Pause for station identification. Alright, I'm back. I went and got my flipper, which is right here. I mentioned in my prep video, don't bother making bannock if you don't have something to flip it with, because you'll just make a mess.
Amen.
And Aaron agrees with that. So we having church. It's Sunday. We're having church here. Amen to that. So there's my meat. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to add my peas into this and kind of serve it all together. So my peas, which was initially supposed to be my side dish, I'm going to have it in it because I don't have quite enough pots, because I don't have any plates or anything to deal with. So I'm going to make the sauce right in here, which could be challenging. This could be a huge flop, but let's give it a shot. I don't think it will be. Man, it smells like green pepper. So I'm going to add my sauce mix in with my meat, because I don't have very much water in there. And I'm just going to keep mixing it and stirring it around, because bringing the sauce back, this is the sauce here, yahoo! Bringing the sauce back can be challenging. So we'll go in like a big glop. Looks kind of like a granola bar. Look at that. There's my sauce. In the meantime, when I had the camera off a few minutes ago, as I mixed my bannock up, I added a little more water because of how thick it was, and I mixed that up so it's ready to cook. So I'm going to start breaking. Ooh, I can smell it. Ooh, it smells awesome. I'm going to start coating that with water. I'm going to need quite a bit of water to get this to rehydrate. I'm going to have to keep playing with it. There, see, it's breaking up already. Oh, man. That smells awesome. So I don't want this to be real thin. So that might be all the water that I use in this. I'll just keep condensing it. You can see it's starting to turn color. So I want to get this as thick as I can make it. It'll also thicken up too as it gets cold. Most sauces will. Man, that looks awesome. You smell that, Aaron?
No.
I'm going to be the belle of the ball here tonight. I haven't eaten it yet. It's hard to say what it'll look like. Man, here looks good. Aaron's got gravy and deer burger. Mashed potatoes. Man, I can smell yours. He'll do his own separate video later. Alright, so there we go. That's thickening up pretty good. I'm going to kind of leave that just the way it is. Like so. So we'll take her like that. Alright, so that gets our sauce done. So the next is the bannock. So you want low heat. I've got an old cheapo stove there back from a long time ago. Can't even buy them anymore. So most people use like a jet boil or that kind of, they're all great, they all work good. One thing I like about this stove is the size of the burner. So when I'm making bannock, I'm going to do this in two different patties, so to speak, or two different pancakes. So I melt my butter in the pan. So I bring 2 butter pats for this. You can bring more if you want to lug more weight. So 4 would be better. You can bring a container of it, like Aaron does. He brings a container. There we go. So we let that burn. So not burn. We let that melt. So it's important to keep things kind of moving along when you get that bannock in there. Otherwise, it will burn. While that's kind of melting, I'm going to drain off my peas. Here's my peas, just like new. Now, try not to make a mess here. So, bannock can be tricky. Can also be very good. So, spoon it out thick, so to speak. I'm going to make 2 biscuits or pancakes with it. Try not to get it everywhere. Now, as the bottom of that browns up, I'm going to start keeping it moving in the pan, because if you don't keep it moving, it'll stick, even with my non-stick pots. In the meantime, if you can see this, I'm going to add my peas. Oh man, that looks good. I add my peas into my sloppy joe mix. We'll serve it all together between the 2 biscuits. Oh, yummy. Just as that's cooking, I'll mix my peas into there. It won't be pea side dish, it'll be peas right in the sloppy joe, so I trust that will be similar. I guess it's all going to the same spot, you know. We should be alright. I also like to keep the lids on stuff. I'll be using this pot to eat out of, so I'll put my bannock right in there. As you can see, it's starting to firm up. So I want the edges to kind of firm up. Flipping it's always tricky. It'd be great to get that on camera.
I don't want to see that.
You've seen that lots of times.
It's so good every time.
It's still good every time. That's right. Bannock's pretty tasty. You see how it's starting to stick here around the edges, so the edges are firming up. So once it firms up, I'll keep jiggling it like that. It'll also start to form bubbles in the top. If your bannock is too thick or not mixed real well, you'll have flour patches in it, which is not a big deal, which I probably have some of that there. Aaron's the master at mixing and doing bannock. He's usually very careful with how he mixes it, and he never has flour patches, but I always seem to rush it and never get it quite as good. All right, Aaron.
No.
The man. The legend. So you want to use low heat on this, like I mentioned before. Another thing I forgot is I gave you the recipe wrong on my first video on Matty the Goose recipe. I forgot that there's sugar in it, so you got to remember there's a tablespoon of sugar in the full batch as well, which I added at a later time. I didn't film putting the tablespoon of sugar in, but anyway, I'll try to maybe put the recipe up on the screen when we're doing the ingredients. So that's starting to firm up nice. Another thing, the butter will absorb into it as it fries. Got a little bit of a wind tonight that's taking my minimum heat here. See, not quite ready as it broke around the edge when I tried to scoop it. You know, no meal is complete without some pine needles in it. So, especially dead ones, they make it taste extra good. They seem to be added to every backcountry dish.
I get mine.
You take them home to add to your dishes at home, so that's going to be a bit of a struggle. And she flipped kind of there. So there's one side. So again, this is going to stick to the bottom, so I'll keep moving it. Make it cook.
That's all right.
Not bad. Not bad. I think it's going to be good. I guess I wouldn't have brought it if I didn't think it was going to be good. Man, I smell that sloppy joe mix. It smells good. Bannock is a little bit of a waiting game. I'm trying to do Maddie the Goose proud. Maddie, if you're watching this, I love those videos. There'll be shepherd's pie a little bit later. I know you did a video on that on your channel, and it was a good video. Real good video. As is your bannock recipe, which I eat a few times a year in the woods. Something else I sometimes do with this is I give it a little bit of help, because I don't have the extra butter to keep from sticking, so you don't want it to stick. So now that it can move, I can help disperse the heat a little bit. Come on, handles, work with me. I sometimes test it like this too to see if it's doughy. A little bit of little dough came out the side. See, it resembles a pancake, but it's heavier than a pancake. A little different flavor too, wouldn't you say? Yeah, a little different flavor than pancakes. Not that pancakes are bad. You could probably use pancakes or instant biscuit mix or whatever, but
I told my son.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, my son told me pancake.
Aaron's playing tricks on the family with bannock. Here, try this pancake. It's not pancake, it's bannock. The Big Ma people would be chasing you down for that. Alright, so I would say that's good enough for me for the first one. So, I'm going to leave that on there so it stays hot. Put this in my big pot, cover it, stay warm as long as I can. My other butter packet goes in. It was warmer today, but I think it's cooled off. No, it didn't come out. You want to get as much butter on your hands as possible. The bears really like it if you prep their food first. Sometimes we smear bacon grease all over ourselves. So we want to make sure the bear is good and satisfied when he's done chewing on my arm. See, this is what happened to this one. No. I wish I had an exciting story like a bear chewed on my arm. That's why it's wrapped up. Nope. Alright, so I'm not going to film the whole process of cooking the second one, but that's what I do when I switch. Those handles, I'm telling you right now, will be a constant frustration for you. So unless you're perfectly level, they're going to keep going against your pot, and you will burn your hands unsuspectingly when you go to grab it. And then some choice words will be said while you're cooking, which no one needs to hear right now. So there's the last one, so I kind of squeeze the bag out. Try hard not to make a mess with stuff, because bears don't care if it's in the ground, in the pine needles, or if it's smeared on your body. That's just the way. And again, we'll kind of keep that moving, and we'll show you the finished product here as I put it together at the very end. Okay, we're just finishing up the last bannock, like so. It's just completed. I'll shut my stove off. I'm going to show you the assembly here. Let's see how it goes. Now remember, I've never made this before. I never made this at home. My wife's the one that makes it. So here's my Sloppy Joe mix. It's kind of thickened up. And like I said, it's a combination of ketchup, mustard, brown sugar, a couple other things that I can't remember. Alright, so I'm going to put that on my bottom bannock to make my sloppiest of Joes. Oh man, that looks good. I wasn't going to cut like a pie. I thought about cutting it in half, and then I thought, why go through the pain and agony of cutting it in half? I'll just make two and make like a sandwich with it. Like so. Backpacking Sloppy Joes. Right there. That is a big meal. Yeah, baby. Cut down through it. The bread, the meat. Just one final shot so that you can be envious of just how good my meal is as I eat it here. Definitely good. Definitely good.